It all started back in 2015. And I was like, you know what? Making a game would be pretty cool. So I went out on a journey of Google searching how to make game. I then stumbled across a Unreal Engine 4 Udemy course, and it all kind of just took off from there, right? I had absolutely no idea how to do any programming at all, and I essentially learned to program in the Unreal Engine blueprint system that they have there. So you can imagine as time goes on, I'm adding more and more stuff into the game. I'm doing like an inventory system, making an infinite game world, putting animations in, just building a game, right? And I kind of get to this tipping point where it's like, I've started on this foundation, right? Let's say the foundation was this big. It wasn't too solid, it was very, very wonky, very shoddily built. And I've stacked layer on top of layer. I built a game on top of that foundation. So then each level I go up, things are getting more and more unstable, and just one little piece could make the entire thing crumble at any given moment. So then I got to a point where I was like, all right, 90% of my game is programmed in Unreal Engine 4 blueprints. I'm gonna need to do a big rework and actually write this properly if I'm ever gonna ship it. And then me being me, I learned a little bit of C++, go down into that, start kind of writing some nice C++ code, and then being like, you know what? If I'm just all doing this in C++ and not really even using the whole visual game engine, I mean I am, but it's taking fucking 30 minutes to compile, and it's just, the workflow was just horrible, right? So I'm like, yo, custom game engine time. How about I just step up, go down into nice raw C++ and build a game engine? So then I did that. I built a game engine using GLFW. So yeah, that was actually even worse because I adopted the whole object-oriented mindset and essentially built an entire game engine around object-oriented code. So it's kind of taken my Unreal Engine kind of stable structure and made it even less stable. So then I tried building a game on top of that, and I got up to, I think it was like animations, and I was making some sort of like event system. Every single time I ran the game, there was some sort of crash. There was some sort of weird fucking memory leak happening because I was just declaring all these objects and not destructing them properly and all that kind of stuff, and the tower crumbled yet again. And then I remember looking at Ryan and going, holy shit, he's making so much progress on his game and he's doing it in C with no libraries at all. How is he doing this? So I just started talking to him about it and asking questions, and eventually I was like, yo, how'd you build a game engine yourself? Telescope, is it? And then we struck a deal for me using Telescope to build up Arcane. So I am actually still using a game engine. I'm not using a game engine. Game engines are great, but this game engine is more like a completely stripped down framework of ways you can make things render to a screen, if that makes sense. He's got the TS2D rendering module, which is exactly how it sounds, Telescope 2D. You can literally just push up sprites every single frame, render whatever the hell you want, right? And you can build an entire game around that. And then he's got other modules like TSUI, which is an immediate mode user interface, the dev terminal, and then obviously all the core like platform stuff for interacting with Windows and making sure all that runs properly, opening files, etc. So it's just built like a very bare bones, the bare minimum that you need to get started in order to start making a game, right? So all of a sudden, instead of having a really shoddy foundation to build an entire game off, I've got something rock solid that isn't stacked up on top of all these layers already, like Unreal Engine, for example. I'm essentially working just one step away from the entire foundation. So then since I'm working at such a low level, I'm actually seeing all these different things that I can do that are completely unique to any 2D game out there. For example, this 3D animation system. I don't know of a single game out there that uses 3D animation at runtime live in engine and then scales that down into 2D pixel art. Sure, people have done it before, but it's just things like that that I'm able to do and expand on that rock solid foundation already. So at this step, I'm not really building a game too much. I'm actually just widening the foundations more and more and more. So then when it is actually time to go build a game, I've got all these tools and I can just literally go, done. So then to someone just walking by, it doesn't actually look like I'm making any progress whatsoever. They're like, the game looked like this 3-4 years ago, and now it looks like this. It's gotten worse. There is less progress being made, but what they don't see is that foundation's gone from this out to here. Instead of making a game from this foundation and only being able to stack it up this high, I can make a game from this foundation and stack it up this high and make an amazing goddamn game. So that's why I am not using a game engine, although I am. And no, unfortunately, you can't actually go and use Telescope yourself yet. It's completely just closed off and proprietary. Ryan might have some plans of building that out in the future and kind of making it a bit more open so that people can actually come in, develop games with that. Like, he's obviously just still building the engine and widening the tools. He's actually about to do a massive rework on Telescope, which I'm really looking forward to and seeing what he does with that. But yeah, I'm really grateful to him and actually letting me use this and being able to build a cool game off of it. So I'm looking forward to actually getting in and doing some actual gameplay stuff very soon. As soon as I finish this animation system, that right there is kind of, I would say, the main final piece in that foundation, because with that, I'm going to be able to make animations like that and have all the different cases for transitioning between animations all taken care of procedurally in engine at runtime. And yeah, I can make a game with it. Have you reached a point in your project where you can say, good thing I didn't use an existing engine? Okay, so here's the thing. I've got absolutely nothing against using an existing engine. I am using an existing engine, but I think what you're referring to is more so the mainstream ones like Unity, Unreal Engine, Godot, fucking Game Maker, stuff like that, right? And if you're using Game Maker, no beef, right? Everyone's got to start somewhere. So yeah, I have absolutely nothing against game engines. If you want to make a game quickly and just get something out and get something finished, and if you're just starting out in game development, amazing. That's exactly what you want to go do, right? If you are serious about making a game and creating a project long term, like I'm talking years of your life, then yes, you can still use a game engine and do it well. Like I said earlier about that whole entire foundation talk, right? If you want to build big foundation so you can do a lot of cool things with it, you can't really do that in an existing game engine like Godot, Unity, Unreal Engine. And then the Unreal Engine fanboys will say, yo, you can build Unreal Engine from source, bro. You can alter the source code. You can add shit onto that game engine. It's no sweat, bro. It's easy peasy. Trying to read that shit is like fucking hieroglyphics, dude. And there's just so much extra shit tacked onto the game engines where if you're trying to expand it, it's just an absolute nightmare and just can make your own at that point. It's actually not too difficult. He says. Yes, it does take quite a bit of upfront work to learn how to program in C, for example, and build out your own game engine. But once you do it, you've already done it. And now you have this big generic foundation for making any game at all. So if you're serious about becoming a game developer long-term and you want to make an entire career about it and you want to make a bunch of games, then investing the first couple of years into actually creating a solid foundation like that, I think is the play. Let me show you a video, and this will really drive home the point. It was a video by Mrs. If you think in the long term, you're going to be better off using a pre-existing engine and it's going to be quicker and it's all about, oh, well, you can make like a really quick game over in these game engines like Unity and shit. Go ahead and watch this video.
4 game developers, 1 art kit, we each make a game. The art kit we'll be using is the 16x16 dungeon tile set by 0x72.
I wonder who this is, eh? Before we look at his, let's just see the others. This guy's using Godot.
Same state logic as the grunt enemy, except instead of attacking with a weapon, he jumps at you.
Pig Dev, he's using Godot as well.
Oh, there he is.
Not too shabby. And then Ryan Fleury, we all know what engine he's using. This is his game.
Sort of jumping, and I can sort of attack him too. And he can attack me.
So, using game engines like Godot, Unity, Unreal, are they faster? I think I'm a pretty bad example of this because I've been working so slowly over the past 5 years, and that's because I literally had no idea how to program at the start of it, and it's kind of just been like, have you seen what's that curve called? So I've started down here, and then right about here, went to the peak of Mad Stupid, and I was like, oh fuck, this entire game is gonna crumble at any given moment in Unreal Engine. I had gone from knowing quite a bit, right? Being quite comfortable in Unreal Engine, using my blueprints, clicking and dragging around, programming with my mouse. Then all of a sudden, I'm down in C++, and I don't really know that much. But I built up some competence, and I hit another peak. I remember this day so vividly. I just quit my job the month prior, working at Zarafas, and I had probably about 2K worth of funds to essentially try and make myself a career over the next few months out of nothing. And this was right when I was building up to the very tippity top of the tower. It kind of just toppled over, and I was like, fuck, now what? And I just felt so goddamn lost. So unbelievably lost. It was probably the worst I've felt ever in my life. Just pure, unrelenting despair. I'd gone from having something to not having a job, not having a game engine, not having a game, and I was learning a new technology. And my first day of game development in C, I was just looking at it, I was going, where the fuck is my STD string? And I was just sitting there crying. I'm like, I don't fucking know anything. I know absolutely nothing. But then guess what came out of that? An entire goddamn career. Each devlog before that, I was probably hitting around 3K views on average, 4K. Like my best ones were going up to 10K. I wasn't doing badly, but I definitely wasn't at a stage where I could turn it into a career and make any money off of it, right? I was just this close to just being completely done with it all. But that switch into the game engine that I'm in now, into the development environment that I am working in, launched my entire YouTube channel and my entire career. So it was probably at that point